Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello my students. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Well, today we are talking about teaching listening to young learners. Okay, what is listening actually? You have to take notice of an act on what someone says, or we respond to advice or a request. And then, who are young learners? From Jean Piaget, it is 5 to 7 years old. Okay, start from this. We have to know the 6 stages of listening. But before that, we have to review first. Every day we hear many sounds, but do we really listen to all of them? No. There is a big difference between just hearing something and really listening. In this lesson, I will introduce 6 different stages of listening to you. You may never have thought about what you are actually doing when you truly listen to something or someone. Well, the first stage is. The first stage is hearing something. Sounds waves make their way to your ears. You hear something. This could be the barking of a dog, a car's alarm system, or someone's word. Second stage, paying attention. You will only pay attention to a certain amount of the sounds that you hear. The dog that is barking in the distance may not be of interest to you at all, so you screen it out. The sound of the car alarm may be a different story. If it is the sound of your car, you will pay attention to it. Paying attention can be problematic when there is a noise that makes it harder to hear the sounds, or a bad phone connection. Okay. And the third stage is understanding the sound. In stage 3, we try to make sense of what the sounds that we are now paying attention to. In the case of the car alarm, we may come to the understanding that someone is trying to steal our car. In the case of conversation, we will try to understand what the other person is telling us. Problems might occur if the other person speaks a different language or using terminology that is not known to you. For some people, words also could have a slightly different meaning. For example, for one person, the dentist is just a job. For others, it is a term. Feel a negative emotion there. Next stage, evaluating. In stage 4, we build our own opinion about what we have heard, paid attention to, and understand. We decide what to remember and whether we feel positive, neutral, or negative about it. Often we judge too quickly. For example, when we have strong belief about a topic or if we do not like the person we are listening to. So here, evaluating relates to our emotion, our feeling, what we are hearing or what we are listening to. Next, responding. We will have to react to what we have heard and paid attention to. In case of the car alarm, we could respond by running out to the car. In conversation, we could either respond verbally with words or non-verbally body language or facial expression. We can check whether we understood the speaker by asking a question, or we could give back feedback on what we have heard. If you do not respond, the communication usually stops. Here, if you're talking to your children or to your students later, if they give response like facial expression, their body language, or even they respond by speaking, yeah, you will get the meaning. You will get does my student know what I'm saying? Does my students really learn what I'm saying? That's it. The last, remembering the communication. The last stage is the remembering stage. Actually, this stage also takes place with it, the communication, because you need to remember what has been said to react and keep the conversation going. Depending on the kind of communication, you will also need to remember the information long term. For example, if the conversation was with your boss about job you need to do, or will you tutor with your tutor about an upcoming exam, most of the time we will not be able to remember 75% of the details of a conversation in the future unless we jot down some notes afterwards. Here, we cannot all remember 100% of what the information talking to you. That's why perhaps some of people here needs to take notes. As you see, there is more to listening than just hearing something. As listening is the second skill of a language, it is necessary for all ages learners to listen that language and understand the real meaning of the words and sentences. Keep in mind that children learn when they find things interesting, so it is a must to choose appropriate tasks for the young learners. Here, I'll provide the 6R method is very effective for young learners. Rhyme, rhythm, repetition, reception, reproduction, and redemption. Okay. Now we talk about the rules of listening in young learners class. The first, although listening is a receptive skill, the students are not and should not be passive while listening. In other words, they should be engaged and or work in the listening task actively. The second, the students should be engaged with different listening capacity and phonological awareness. And the third, the language teachers should train the students to listen to the English sounds carefully and gradually. Fourth, the teacher should train the young learners to follow simple instruction to get them ready to develop other language skills. Different listening tasks should be addressed in a class. For example, like listen and do, listen and draw, listen and color, listen and mime, listen and predict, listen and respond, listen and write, listen and identify, listen and match, listen and complete, listen and read. Okay. Later I will show you how it looks like. 6. The students should be given a different task each time they listen to the same text. For example, first listen to have a general idea. Second, listen to complete the blanks. And the third, listen to check your answer. Input through tapes, videos, or teachers' modeling should be provided. The audio tools should be in a good quality. And 8. The teacher should be aware of the importance of familiarity with the context, language, task, voice, and etc. Difficulty also, what is expected as the output, and the teacher's language, like repeating, simplifying, and using gestures, intonation, and formulaic expression that help children to figure out the intended meaning. It is important to embed listening into stories, games, routines, rhymes, songs, okay, as we discussed before, okay, at the previous meeting we talked about this. They may not understand every word, but they can understand the meaning from the context, visual, and gesture as in a real life. Therefore, young learners learn a new language from all their body, from all their part of the body. Okay. Next, both bottom-up requiring linguistic knowledge and top-down requiring word knowledge, listening should be addressed. So you have to provide those. Yeah. Well, in this part is time for listen and do. Here I provide what we can use for this activity. We can use Simon Says. Okay, these are the list what can you say in Simon Says. And I provide also the link of YouTube that you can watch how is it going. We go to listen and color. Okay, here you have to provide a picture. Yeah, only a picture of classroom, a picture of a garden or whatever, and then you have to set the instruction and ask the students based on the instruction. For example, here you have a classroom picture, and then this at the first this classroom is not colorful, but you ask your students to color it based on your instruction. You can see from the picture here, write welcome on the front board. Okay, color the carpet yellow. So this is the instruction. Read and color the sidewords on the wall. Color the books on the front shelf. Okay, and many more. Okay, perhaps you provide more instruction related to different pictures. Okay, the pictures that the students like in their surrounding, it makes them more engaged. Well, listen and draw. Okay, this is the instruction if you want to make your students drawing. Okay, you give the instruction and ask them to draw. Okay, and here I provide the instruction. So you ask your students to prepare a paper or notebook, but then you ask them to draw. Okay, based on the language, the linguistic features. If you want to talk about preposition here, yeah, so you have to provide instruction related to preposition, but at the first you do not tell them about what you are going to do with preposition. Okay, later after you give the instruction, you ask your students to show their pictures and then compare to the original picture. Okay, here is the another example of listen and draw. It can be using a stories, it can be only instruction. Yeah, so you have to be more creative as a teacher. Yeah, I think that's all about how to teach listening to young learners. Okay, thank you very much all my students. I hope you can get many experience related to this explanation, and then if you have a question, just ask me directly to this email or go to my WhatsApp number. And of course, if you still wants to practice more about those kind of activities, you can get many more sources from the internet. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Stay healthy. Yeah, keep smiling. Okay, and then be happy. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.